Greetings everybody and welcome to Madrid Ball. I hope you all are doing good. Today in this video we'll be talking about one of our attackers on loan, Luka Jovic. And not only that, before club football resumes, we will be assessing how the rest of the players on loan have been performing as well. In the next video we'll be talking about Borja Mayoral and Takefusa Kubo. But coming back today, the emphasis will be on Jovic, and we'll also do a short discussion on how our players fared in the World Cup qualifiers. So let's get started. Let's start this video with a round of international football news. Firstly, talking about the French national side. France were able to overcome Kazakhstan. They beat them 2-0 courtesy of goal from Ousmane Dembele and an own goal. But the important part from Real Madrid perspective is that both Raphael Varane and Ferland Mendy were not used in the match. There was no requirement for them. It's good that both of them have received some rest, because we know these two players are the most overused players by Zinedine Zidane, and especially Varane. He has played in 27 out of 28 matches in La Liga. He has been one of our ever-present members in our lineup, and certainly he would have benefited from a breather there. Up next, Spain as well decided to hand Sergio Ramos some rest against Georgia. The Spanish side were very close to dropping points for the second time in 3 days, but an injury time goal from Dani Olmo got all the 3 points for Spain, and they would be much relieved after making a poor start to the campaign. And lastly, talking about Croatia, Luka Modric was again included in the side, and he played another 90 minutes for the national team. No rest for him there, but the good news is that he looked completely fine pulling the strings for Croatia. We have discussed in the previous video that he had endured a rough challenge to the ankle, but it does look like ice and physiotherapy worked for Luka, and he was able to power throughout the 90 minutes. As for Croatia, they registered a slender victory through a headed goal of Pasalic, and it was a much needed 3 points. They are currently second on the table. They haven't made a good start to the qualifying campaign, and by the look of things, it's highly likely that the Croatian coach will use Modric in the third match as well. So Modric, as we see, he has got a lot of minutes in his legs. He has had a busy few days, and hopefully he'll come back to Madrid absolutely fit and fine. Moving on, let's come to the crux of the video. Luka Jovic is the man on top of the agenda. This is the player who has suffered a difficult time at Madrid this season, and then he decided to go on a loan where he truly emerged as an attacking force. But the problem is, even in Germany, Luka Jovic has been far from his best. He was off to a flying start. He came off the bench against Schalke, where he scored 2 top quality goals to mark his return in style, but things haven't been rosy for Jovic since that match. In the following 10 matches, he has just been able to score a single goal. He has had a few matches where he simply was not engaged, and when that happens, no one can stop the wave of criticism from hitting the player. Now, if we assess the situation of Jovic, we see that Luka Jovic hasn't really been used as a starter at Frankfurt. In the 11 matches that he has played in, he has come off the bench in 8 matches, and in only 3 matches he has been a starter. So from that we can understand the status of Jovic in Frankfurt, and as for the club, they have always seen this transfer as something which would bolster the depth in the squad rather than something as a necessity. You can have a look at the Bundesluga table here. Frankfurt this season are ahead of Borussia Dortmund and Bayer Leverkusen. They are 4th in the table and are strong contenders to finish in the Champions League spot. So we find that Frankfurt have been doing well this season, and it's them who have done Jovic more of a favor by handing the opportunity to resurrect his career. And in the process, they've also ensured that they do not disturb the balance and harmony in the side by picking Jovic more over the rest. So that is one of the reasons for Luka Jovic having a role of an impact sub at Frankfurt. He has received probably not the amount of minutes that we expected, but if we compare his situation to Real Madrid, quite clearly he is better off there. But talking more about his time in Germany, he has been handed a few starts, but in those games, at times he has lacked conviction, and at times he has simply been unlucky in front of goal. There also seems to be a problem with the chemistry in the side. There have been instances where Jovic got himself in goal-scoring positions, but his teammates were unable to pick him out, and subsequently goal-scoring chances were squandered. Now for this to work, it will take some time for his teammates to get accustomed to his movement, get acquainted with his positioning, and in the next month or so we may see different results. But right now we can say that Jovic is going through a tough phase. Another challenge that Jovic faces is Frankfurt already have a more lethal striker than Jovic at the moment. There is Andre Silva of Portugal, who is having a sublime season. He has 21 goals in 24 matches. He's currently just behind Lewandowski in the goal-scoring charts, and he attracts the interest of Man City, Barcelona, and many more clubs. They also have the likes of Kostic and Daichi Kamada, who regularly chip in with goals and assists. So we see very often Jovic is overshadowed by by the other attackers, and we also have to understand here that Adi Hunter is not going to tweak with the things that are already going very well. There is an outside chance that he may be using the two-striker formation with Jovic playing alongside Andre Silva, but there's also a chance that Frankfurt will just see Jovic as someone who will provide them additional strength in nailing the Champions League spot. Jovic may not be a regular starter, but he may be an important rotational chip, an impact sub coming off the bench and providing an extra spark when things don't go right. So that's the situation for Jovic, and if we are to find some positives and perhaps a silver lining, we may have to look at the match just before the international break where Jovic had received a start. Frankfurt hammered Berlin 5-2 in that match, and Jovic had played a part in 2 of the goals there. So that can be seen as an improvement, but will the coach stick with the two-striker formation including Jovic? We are not quite sure. And now if we see the situation from Real Madrid's point of view, it certainly doesn't seem ideal. Luka Jovic has shown some flashes of his brilliance, but considering the high standards that Real Madrid have set over the years in the attacking department, it will be difficult for Jovic to cut in with these stats. As a striker, you have to bang in the goals, and although Jovic has been getting in good positions in front of goal, he's getting in dangerous territories, but a striker is always going to be judged by the goals he scored, and at this point he's certainly lacking in that department. We do have a mammoth task of finding attackers who can give us goals. There's also a case of finding someone who can replace Benzema in a year or two. So will Jovic be seen as someone to whom Benzema can pass the torch? Things right now are not pointing in that direction. But we do know there's still plenty of time left this season, many matches yet to be played, and that is a decent time frame to get some goals and get back some of the lethal touch in front of goal. You can always turn things around as a 23-year-old, and if not, then can we see a potential exit this summer? Jovic has said in an interview with Bill that it is very important that everyone remembers he's a Real Madrid player, and the club sporting director has also said that there was minimal chance of re-signing Jovic permanently. So that can be an indication that he may come back to Madrid, but we also have to understand the dynamics of the transfer market here. Those words by the sporting director can easily be used to show reduced interest in Jovic in an attempt to bring down the price. So we should not be surprised when such comments are made. And as for Jovic, we know he likes his former club a lot, and he'll be more than happy to play there on a permanent basis. And the coach Adi Hunter may also play him regularly when the deal is completed. There will be more stability in the side, and the coach would then have the freedom of completely integrating Jovic in the plans. So that can be one case, but obviously Luka Jovic coming back to Madrid and repaying for the investment that Madrid have made in him, that would be the ideal scenario. And that completes my analysis on Jovic, and now it's your time to let me know what you think about the Jovic situation in Frankfurt. If you have seen him play, what have you noticed? Write in the comments below. I will see you soon. Till then, take care, glory to Madrid, and as always, a la Madrid!